Warriors don't just rise with the sun, they rise with purpose. And the battlefield isn't out there in the world. It's right here, in the mind, in the soul, in those first 20 minutes after you open your eyes. If you win that moment, you win the day. And if you win enough days, you transform your life. So I ask you, when your eyes open tomorrow morning, will you rise like a warrior, or will you rise like a warrior? My friends, how you begin your morning is how you begin your life again and again. Every single day, the universe gives us a blank canvas, and yet, most of us scribble on it mindlessly, unaware of the sacred power of our first 20 minutes. We wake up, pick up our phones, compare our lives, complain about our routines, and carry yesterday's worries in today's blessings. But a warrior doesn't live like that. A true warrior aligns with the divine the moment their eyes open. You see, life isn't just about moving fast, it's about moving meaningfully. And that meaning is born in silence, in awareness, and in devotion. In the unseen moments when no one is watching. God is not asking you to be perfect today. God is simply waiting to meet you in those first quiet moments of the morning, to hand you the inner strength you'll need for the day ahead. When you wake up, do you remember your worries or your worth? Do you remember your phonic or your purpose? Do you remember your schedule leap or your soul? Because those first 20 minutes, they are not just minutes, they are seeds. And what you plant in them determines the fruit you will taste not only today, but in the years to come. So let's talk about to rise like a warrior. Not in anger, not in noise, but in alignment with truth, with grace, and with God. When you wake up in the morning, what is the first thought that enters your mind? Is it a complaint about how little you slept, how much you have to do, or how much you wish you could stay in bed? Or is it something far more powerful? Something that elevates your spirit the moment your eyes open. The difference between the two can shape the destiny of your entire day. It may seem small, even trivial. But in truth, it's one of the most sacred decisions you can make. To begin your day with gratitude instead of groaning is not just a habit. It is a conscious act of spiritual alignment. It is the decision to rise with grace, not resentment. To choose God's presence over the mind's complaints. And that single choice can transform the vibration of your life. Little by little, day after day. Most people live their mornings in default mode. They wake up and immediately feel behind. Their mind races to their deadlines, their worries, their to-do lists. The heart feels heavy and they haven't even gotten out of bed yet. But imagine this. What if the first words in your heart every morning were, "Thank you. Thank you for this breath. Thank you for this body. Thank you for this life." Even if everything isn't perfect, even if problems still remain, that simple whisper of gratitude becomes a key that opens the door to divine energy. The moment you express sincere gratitude, you step into a higher frequency. You stop dragging your soul through the mud of negativity and begin to rise into the light of awareness. Gratitude is not pretending everything is okay. It is acknowledging that even within the mess, miracles still exist. You may be facing a storm, but if you can wake up and feel thankful for the shelter over your head, for the loved ones still beside you, for the opportunity to breathe and begin again, then you are already victorious. You are not waiting for life to be perfect to be at peace. You are practicing peace so life can align more perfectly. The warrior doesn't rise by force. The warrior rises through awareness. And that awareness begins with the softness of a grateful heart. Let me give you a simple example. Think of a person who wakes up every day, sighs heavily, checks their phone, scrolls through bad news, and immediately starts comparing their life with others. By the time they leave their room, they're already tired, even though they just woke up. Their energy feels like a burden. Now imagine another person. The alarm rings. They close their eyes for a moment, place their hand on their heart, and say, "Thank you." They stretch slowly, feeling the miracle of being alive. They smile. Not because everything is going right, but because they remembered what matters. They start their day not in reaction, but in reverence. This second person hasn't changed their job, their circumstances, or their relationships, but they've changed their vibration. And so their experience of life becomes more expansive, more joyful, more guided. We all have problems, but we also all have blessings. The only difference between those who are peaceful and those who are restless is what they choose to focus on first. And the first 20 minutes of your morning is when your mind is most open, most vulnerable, and most programmable. If you pour in complaints, your mind becomes conditioned to seek more things to complain about. If you pour in gratitude, your mind becomes trained to notice beauty even in the ordinary. You may walk the same path to work, but suddenly you notice the golden hue of the sunlight. You may eat the same breakfast, but suddenly it feels like a gift rather than a task. Gratitude doesn't change what's in front of you. It changes the eyes you see it with. Even science supports this truth. Researchers have found that people who practice gratitude regularly have lower stress, better sleep, stronger relationships, and even healthier bodies. But we didn't need science to tell us what the soul already knew, that thankfulness invites abundance and complaint blocks it. Because when you are grateful, you become magnetic to grace. And grace is what carries you through your battles, through your struggles, through your doubts. That's why a warrior begins with gratitude. Not because everything is easy, but because they know that their strength doesn't come from control. It comes from connection. Every morning, you are given a new page to write your story. Gratitude is the ink that makes your story meaningful. Without it, even a rich life will feel poor. With it, even a simple life will feel divine. Wake up tomorrow and say, "Thank you." Even if your heart feels heavy, say it anyway. Even if your problems seem big, say it anyway. Because when you speak those words, you are not ignoring your problems, you are remembering your power. And in that remembrance, you rise, not just from your bed, but into your highest self. This is how a warrior rises. Not with a sword, but with surrender, not with resistance, but with reverence. Not with noise, but with a quiet "thank you" that echoes all the way up to the heavens. Before the world reaches you, reach yourself. That is the essence of beginning your day like a spiritual warrior. And the very first, most intimate way to do that is to meet your breath. It's not dramatic, it's not loud, and it's certainly not flashy, but it is sacred. Your breath is the softest voice of God within you, steady, silent, and always with you. Yet, most people wake up and immediately abandon it. They don't even take one conscious breath before rushing into the noise of the world. They open their phones before they open their hearts. They dive into messages, headlines, comparisons, and distractions, and never pause to ask themselves, "Who am I?" before the world tells me who I should be today. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, your eyes open. Instead of reaching for your phone, you place your hand on your chest and simply notice your breath. Inhale, exhale again and again. That's it. No drama, just awareness, just presence. That breath is not just oxygen, it is life flowing through you. It is the silent reminder that you are alive, that God still believes there is purpose for you in this world. That breath is not mechanical, it is miraculous. But we miss it because in the rush to be seen, heard, and validated by the outside world, we forget to meet the quiet wisdom of the world inside us. In the spiritual tradition, the breath is known as prana, the life force, the carrier of divine intelligence. In moments of panic, when someone faints or collapses, what's the first thing we check? Are they breathing? Why? Because where there is breath, there is life. And where there is life, there is hope. Breath is the bridge between the body and the soul. It connects the visible and the invisible. The body may move with the world, but the breath moves with the divine. When you become aware of your breath, even for 1 full minute in the morning, you invite the sacred into your awareness. Now think of how most people begin their day. The alarm goes off and within seconds, they are thrown into reaction. They reach for their device, scroll through social media, read notifications, check emails, reply to messages. And before they've even brushed their teeth, their peace has already been traded for pressure. The breath becomes shallow, the heartbeat races. The mind fills with thoughts of urgency. And they haven't even left their bedroom yet. It's not that the world has come to stress them. It's they've invited the world into their sacred morning space before aligning themselves with stillness. On the other hand, think of a person who starts their day with breath awareness. Their alarm rings. They stay still for a moment. They gently observe their breath entering and leaving their body. No efforts, just calm presence. Inhale. Exhale. They feel the rise and fall of their chest. They may softly repeat a few silent words. I am here. I am safe. I am connected. Their mind begins to settle. Their heart softens. They're not running yet. They're resting in the now. And from this state of balance they rise. They begin their day not by reacting to the world, but by responding from a place of grounded awareness. This simple act of meeting your breath before meeting the world creates a powerful shift. It teaches you that peace is not found in the absence of problems. It is found in the presence of awareness. Life will always bring challenges. People will still upset you. Work will still demand you. Deadlines will still approach. But when you begin your day grounded in your breath, you don't carry anxiety. You carry clarity. You don't run after the world. You walk with purpose. You don't get lost in noise. You stay rooted in presence. And this presence becomes your protection. It helps you observe life without being overwhelmed by it. You become like the ocean, vast and calm, even when the surface has waves. The most inspiring truth is this: your breath has always been there. You didn't have to earn it. You didn't have to chase it. It's the one part of you that's been with you through every storm, every heartbreak, every victory, every tear. It was with you when you laughed, when you cried, when you feared, and when you hoped. It's the companion that never leaves. And when you give it your attention, even for a few sacred moments in the morning, you awaken your connection to the eternal. You stop being a machine that rushes through life, and you return to being a soul that experiences life. In those first 20 minutes of your day, your breath can become your anchor. When you meet it with love, you meet yourself with love. You tell your mind, I am not here to hurry, I am here to live. You tell your body, are safe now. You tell your soul, I have not forgotten you. And with every conscious inhale and exhale, you rise, not as a servant to the world's chaos, but as a warrior aligned with divine calm. So tomorrow morning, before anything else, don't meet your phone. Don't meet your doubts. Don't meet your stress. Meet your breath. Because when you meet your breath, you meet God. And when you meet God, you remember that the day ahead is not just a task to complete. It is a sacred journey to walk through with presence, purpose, and peace. Most people set alarms to wake up on time, but very few wake up with intention. There is a difference between waking up and rising. One is biological, the other is spiritual. One simply opens the eyes, the other opens the soul. And in those first moments of your day, before the world invades your peace, there is a golden opportunity to plant something deep within your consciousness, a seed of intention. That seed, if chosen with awareness, can shape the entire energy of your day. You see, the way we begin our morning is not just about what time we get out of bed. It's about the mindset we choose to wear, the energy we choose to carry, and the values we choose to live by. The alarm may wake your body, but it is your intention that wakes your spirit. We live in a world that glorifies doing, chasing, achieving. From the moment we wake up, many of us are thrown into autopilot. We get ready, we rush, we tick off checklists, and we measure success by how much we get done. But in the process, we often forget why we're doing anything at all. The soul doesn't find satisfaction in tasks. It finds meaning in purpose. That's why setting a clear, heart-centered intention first thing in the morning is so powerful. It is like offering your day to something greater than your distractions. It is like saying to yourself, today, no matter what happens, I choose to live in alignment with truth. I choose to remember who I am. Imagine someone waking up and going through a day like a robot. Checking emails, attending meetings, completing tasks, scrolling through social media. And by nightfall, they feel exhausted. Not just physically, but spiritually. It's not because they didn't work hard. It's because they forgot to be present in their work. They forgot to stay connected to a higher purpose. Now imagine another person. The alarm goes off, and before jumping out of bed, they pause. They breathe deeply and silently set a gentle intention. Today, I will stay kind no matter what comes. Today, I will move through my challenges with grace. Today, I will serve, not just work. That intention may take just a few seconds to set, but it becomes the guiding compass for their entire day. The beauty of an intention is that it doesn't need to be loud or grand. It doesn't need an audience. It doesn't need applause. It just needs your sincerity. A soft whisper to yourself in the morning can be more powerful than any motivational quote on the internet. Why? Because it's coming from your soul. When your intention comes from the depth of your being, it anchors you. It doesn't promise that the day will be easy. It doesn't mean people won't test your patience. But it gives you the clarity to respond rather than react. It helps you remember what truly matters, especially when the day pulls you in 100 directions. Let's take a very simple, relatable example. Suppose your intention for the day is to be patient, and you walk into a situation where someone disrespects you or challenges your peace. Without intention, you might immediately snap back, argue, or carry resentment all day. But with intention, there's a brief pause in your mind, a soft voice that reminds you, you chose patience today, you chose peace. And in that pause, you shift, you respond with calm, or you walk away with dignity. That moment of power, that decision to choose your higher self, comes not from willpower in the moment, but from the intention you planted in the morning. Think of a seed planted in the soil. You don't see it grow instantly, but over time, with the right nourishment and consistency, it becomes a tree. Similarly, your morning intention is that seed. You may not see immediate changes, But day by day, it shapes your character, your decisions, your energy. It becomes a part of you. It reminds you that your life is not just a series of events. It's a sacred journey, and every day is an opportunity to walk that journey with greater awareness. Even when you're unsure of what your day will bring, you can still choose how you want to show up. Will you carry anxiety or acceptance? Will you rush through tasks or bring mindfulness to each step? Will you move from fear or from love? These aren't questions to ask once in a lifetime. These are questions to ask every morning. And your answers, your intentions, are what build your inner strength. A warrior doesn't need to know every detail of the battlefield. A warrior simply needs to be clear in their own purpose. That clarity is what makes them unstoppable. Setting an intention isn't about controlling the day. It's about surrendering to it with awareness. It's about reminding yourself that your worth isn't measured by your productivity, but by your presence. It's about living with your soul switched on, not your autopilot. So tomorrow morning, when your alarm goes off, take a moment. Before the world claims your attention, claim your intention, whisper it, feel it, own it. Because in those quiet, sacred seconds, you are not just preparing for the day. You are preparing your consciousness to rise. And when your consciousness rises, everything in your life begins to rise with it. Every morning, as we prepare ourselves to step into the outer world, we perform a routine. Washing our face, brushing our teeth, grooming our hair, ensuring we look fresh and ready to meet the day. But what about the inner world? What about the thoughts that we carry from yesterday? The silent frustrations, the hidden doubts, the unfinished conversations replaying in our minds like an echo. We scrub our skin clean, but forget to cleanse our consciousness. We clean the dust from our mirror, but ignore the fog on the mirror of our mind. And this is where the real battle begins. Not in the office, not in the traffic, not in the chaos, but in the mind, where peace and pressure fight for dominance. Just as we would never leave our homes in the morning without brushing our teeth, we must learn never to leave our minds unwashed. The thoughts we wake up with are often not fresh. They are carried over from yesterday. Maybe someone spoke to us harshly. Maybe we disappointed ourselves. Maybe we scrolled through too much negativity before sleeping. And all of that mental residue becomes the lens through which we view today. It clouds our clarity. It colors our perception. And without even realizing it, we end up dragging the past into the present. The new day feels heavy. Not because it is heavy, but because we never let go of what yesterday left behind. This is why taking even 5 minutes in the morning to cleanse your mind can be one of the most powerful spiritual practices. And it doesn't have to be complicated. Sit in silence, close your eyes, watch your breath, and most importantly, observe the flow of your thoughts with judgment. Don't try to control them. Don't analyze them. Just witness. Let them rise and fall like waves in the ocean. As you do this, something magical begins to happen. The mind, which felt so loud and busy, starts to quiet down. The noise begins to dissolve. You start seeing which thoughts are useful and which ones are simply dust, unnecessary, outdated, and unhelpful. In that observation, without force, the cleansing begins. Think of a cup filled with muddy water. If you keep shaking it, the water will remain murky. But if you let it sit still, the mud slowly settles to the bottom and the water becomes clear. The same is true for the mind. When we wake up and instantly dive into activity, messages, and responsibilities, we keep shaking the mind. The mud doesn't settle. But if we give it a few moments of stillness, a few moments of awareness, it begins to clear. And in that clarity, we find guidance. We find peace. We find the quiet voice of God within us. The one that is always there, but often drowned by the chatter of a restless mind. Let's take an everyday example. Suppose you had a disagreement with someone yesterday and the conversation didn't end well. You went to sleep with a heavy heart. Now, the next morning, you wake up. If you don't pause and cleanse that thought, it will follow you. It will shape your mood. It might make you snappy with others. It may cause you to avoid eye contact, to feel withdrawn, to act with tension. And then, the day becomes a series of reactions rather than a conscious response. But imagine if instead, you sat quietly in the morning and acknowledged that feeling, yes, I'm hurt. Yes, that moment was difficult. And then, with deep breaths, you release it. You say, today is a new day. I choose peace. I choose to respond with wisdom. That one shift doesn't just change your mood. It changes your destiny. Because every day is like a canvas. And our thoughts are the paint. If we don't cleanse the leftover colors from yesterday, today's painting will be messy. But when we clean the palette, we give ourselves the chance to create something new, something intentional, something beautiful. And this is not just a poetic idea, it is deeply practical. It makes you more focused. It improves your relationships. It protects your emotional energy. It brings you closer to the divine who speaks in stillness, not in noise. We all shower our bodies daily, not because we're always dirty, but because we value hygiene. The same must be true for the mind. Mental hygiene is not optional, it's essential. Especially in today's world where we are bombarded by information, opinions, judgments, and comparisons. The world is not going to slow down, but we can slow down inside. We can learn to return to that calm, centered space where thoughts are not rulers, but guests, allowed to enter, but not allowed to control us. So tomorrow morning, before you open the door to the world, open the door to yourself. Sit down, breathe, let the thoughts flow. Let them settle, and then gently let go of what no longer serves you. Whisper to yourself, I am not yesterday. I am this moment. In that moment, you don't just wash your face. You wash your spirit. You don't just wear clean clothes. You wear a clean mind. And that lies in being chosen. More than anything else is what gives you the strength to walk into your day, not as a prisoner of the past, but as a warrior of peace. Cleansing the mind is a quiet ritual, but its effects are thunderous. It's not seen on the outside, but it transforms you from within. And when your inner world is clean, the outer world becomes a place you navigate with calm, clarity, and quiet power. Before the world asks you to perform, produce, or prove, there is a sacred opportunity to pause and place your day into the hands of the divine. That moment, if honored with sincerity, becomes your spiritual armor. Because the truth is, no matter how much we plan, organize, and anticipate, we are never fully in control of what the day may bring. Plans shift, people change, situations surprise us. And in a world that is constantly pulling us in every direction, one of the most grounding things we can do each morning is to simply offer our day to a higher power and say, guide me, use me. Let me not just go through this day. Let me grow through it. There is a kind of peace that no to-do list can offer, no productivity app can deliver. It is the peace that comes from surrender, not giving up, but giving over. It is the peace of knowing that you don't walk alone, that you're not the sole architect of every outcome. The value chosen, that you're not expected to carry the entire weight of life on your own shoulders. When you begin your morning by offering your day to the divine, you shift your inner energy from control to trust, from anxiety to alignment. You no longer see every challenge as a threat. You see it as a tool for growth, handed to you by the one who knows exactly what your soul needs today. Let's take a simple, relatable example. Imagine you wake up on a day that feels especially full. Meetings, deadlines, errands, responsibilities. The mind is already buzzing before your feet touch the floor. Your first instinct may be to jump into the day head first, trying to manage and master everything by yourself. But what if you paused for just 1 minute, closed your eyes, and whispered, "Divine power, I offer this day to you. Let my words be guided. Let my actions be graceful. Let me not lose myself in the rush, but carry your peace through it all." That 1 minute doesn't erase the work ahead, but it does something more important. It centers you. It reconnects you to the part of you that isn't afraid, isn't rushed, isn't alone. And from that place, even the busy schedule feels more manageable, more meaningful, more aligned. The problem isn't always the workload. It's the weight we attach to it. When we believe that everything depends solely on us, pressure builds. But when we remember that there is a higher force working through us, pressure turns into partnership. The burden of perfection softens, and our energy flows with more ease. Offering your day to God doesn't mean you sit back and do nothing. It means you step forward with clarity, knowing that your effort is important, but not your entire identity. You become a channel, not just a creator, a participant in life, not just a control of it. There is something beautiful about starting your day in humility, not because you feel small, but because you recognize something infinitely vast is walking with you. You acknowledge that your vision, as strong as it may be, is still limited. And by offering your day to God, you allow space for wisdom beyond your own to shape your path. Sometimes that might mean unexpected delays that save you. Sometimes it means crossing paths with someone who needed your smile. Sometimes it means discovering strength in a challenge you didn't think you could face. None of it is coincidence. When your day is offered with devotion, it becomes a dance with divinity. Many people wake up and look at their calendar first. They ask, "What do I have to do today?" But a spiritual warrior wakes up and asks, "How can I serve today? How can I be used for something higher than just my plans?" That attitude doesn't make you less effective. It makes you more powerful. Because now, you are not just doing things for yourself. You are doing them with purpose, with love, with awareness. You may still go to the same job, meet the same people, perform the same duties. But now, your spirit is alive within those actions. And that changes everything. It's like a musician who doesn't just play notes, but plays from the soul. The same sounds entirely different. When you offer your day to God, you become that kind of musician. Every word you speak, every step you take, every decision you make becomes part of a higher harmony. Even if things don't go according to your plan, they still serve a purpose you may not yet understand. And that is where real trust lies. Not in the guarantee of comfort, but in the faith that everything, even the discomfort, is part of your transformation. So tomorrow morning, before the noise begins, find a quiet moment. Sit with your breath, place your hands together or over your heart, and offer your day, not out of fear, but out of reverence. Because you expect everything to go perfectly, but because you want everything to be meaningful. Say it in your own words or say nothing at all. Just feel the sincerity behind the offering. And then rise. Rise not with stress, but with steadiness. Rise not with pressure, but with peace. Rise like a warrior, not because the day will be easy, but because you remembered who walks beside you. That simple act of surrender, done consistently, becomes the difference between surviving your days and truly living them, between being pulled by the world and being guided by something greater, between waking up to routine and waking up to purpose. And in that sacred morning moment, you are not just preparing for the day. You are preparing your spirit to shine through it. There is something sacred about movement. Not just the kind that burns calories or builds muscle, but the kind that brings you back into your body, back into the present moment, back into a relationship with yourself. In the early hours of the morning, when the world is still quiet and your mind hasn't yet been pulled in 1,000 directions. Moving your body with awareness becomes more than exercise. It becomes an act of devotion. It becomes a prayer, not spoken in words, but expressed through rhythm, breath, and presence. It becomes a way of telling God, thank you for this body. I honor it. I care for it. I offer it back to you today. You don't need to go to a fancy gym or push yourself to exhaustion. What matters is not how intense the movement is, but how intentional it is. Whether it's a few minutes of stretching, a gentle yoga flow, a peaceful walk under the sky, or just breathing deeply while raising your hands to the heavens. When done with awareness, it turns from a routine into a ritual. It becomes a reminder that your body is not a machine to be used, but a temple to be cherished. It is the vehicle through which your soul experiences this life. And when you treat it with reverence, the energy within you begins to shift. Most people wake up and rush. Their bodies are moving, but their minds are still scattered. They reach for their phones, slouch their backs, yawn through the motions of the morning. Their body is awake, but it's not alive. It's stiff, sluggish, forgotten. But think about this. When was the last time you truly connected with your body before your day began? When was the last time you moved it with love, not just to look good or burn fat, but simply because it's a miracle to move? You see, we often take our body for granted until it's in pain. We remember its value when it breaks down, but forget to celebrate it when it's working silently, tirelessly, carrying us through life with loyalty. Imagine starting your morning differently. You step out of bed, place your feet on the ground, close your eyes, and offer a moment of stillness. Then, you raise your arms slowly overhead and take a deep breath in. You stretch gently to the side, feeling the pull of your muscles, the expansion of your lungs. You rotate your neck, release tension from your shoulders, touch your toes, sway your spine. Each movement is slow, mindful, filled with gratitude. You're not just stretching, you're awakening. You're telling your body, I see you. I thank you. Let's begin today together. In that space, something beautiful happens. The mind starts to quiet down. The breath becomes deeper. The heart opens. And you begin to feel not just physically awake, but spiritually aligned. The energy that might have been stuck begins to flow again. The weight of yesterday starts to lift. You feel more grounded, more present, more in tune. And this energy carries with you through the rest of your day. You walk with more confidence. You breathe with more ease. You respond to challenges with more balance. Not because your problems disappeared, but because you showed up differently. Let's reflect on a daily life scenario. Think of someone who starts their day sitting in traffic, already irritated, already late, already tense. Their body is hunched over the steering wheel, jaw clenched, muscles tight. By the time they reach their destination, they're mentally drained and physically stiff. Now picture another person, same job, same commute. But before leaving the house, They spent 5 minutes moving intentionally. Maybe they did a few yoga poses. Maybe they danced to their favorite song. Maybe they just breathed deeply and walked around their room with presence. That person gets into the same car, but with a different posture, a different energy. They are not dragging themselves, they are carrying themselves. And it shows in every interaction, every decision, every emotion throughout the day. When you move your body in the morning with intention, you are aligning with the natural rhythm of life. The sun rises, the birds sing, the trees sway flow. Everything in nature moves. And you too are a part of that sacred dance. When you become stagnant, physically or mentally, you disconnect from that flow. But movement reconnects you. It reawakens the harmony between body, mind, and spirit. It reminds you being chosen. It reminds you that life is not just something you think about. It's something you live through your body. It's easy to underestimate the power of 5 or 10 minutes. But those minutes, if done consistently with love and awareness, it can become one of the most transformative habits of your life. Because how you treat your body is often a reflection of how you treat your soul. If you ignore it, rush it, punish it, you send a message to yourself that you are not worthy of care. But when you nurture it, honor it, move it with grace, you start to build a new relationship with yourself. One rooted in love, not pressure. One guided by presence, not performance. So tomorrow, don't just wake up, rise. And when you rise, move. Not to impress, not to push, but to remember. Remember that your body is a gift, your breath gift, this day is a gift. And the way you begin it matters. Move with the intention of presence. Move with the feeling of devotion. Move with the awareness that this very body is the house where your soul resides. And when you treat with reverence, the divine walks with you in every step.